Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to just look at a new suite of products, which is called Lovely Garden. So there's some pattern paper, stamp set, a variety of different products that go along with this suite. So I thought we would just take a look at the pattern paper today. So I have a couple different card ideas I want to share with you. And if you don't have this suite, you can certainly use these card layouts with any supplies that you have on hand. So good morning, everyone. So these are the cards that I was playing around with. There's some beautiful pattern paper in this particular suite. And so I like to cut out some of the images and things from the pattern paper to create kind of the focal point for my cards. But of course, you can use the stamp set to do that as well. But the coloring on this paper is probably a lot better than the coloring that I could do. So, so I decided to use these. So we are going to make a couple of these cards. I did them in three different colors. So I have the Melon Mambo, and then the fresh Freesia, and then this one is actually blueberry bushel and some garden green. So we'll play around with these, and then I'll show you each card individually as we go along. So let's move some of this stuff first. I want to show you the pattern paper. So this is the Lovely Garden pattern paper. I actually cut it down to 6 by 6 inch size just so that you guys could see it. So this is the front, and then the next sheet is the back. So I'll kind of lay them out like this. So this is front and this is the back, or vice versa. So it has some really fun and pretty patterns, some kind of bold patterns. Obviously, you can see this one's pretty bold, pretty big images. And then this is front and back. I like the black that's mixed in with here, with the colors here. It just kind of makes the colors pop. And there's just obviously a variety of different floral designs. So it's called Lovely Garden for those of you that are just joining. So that's front and back. And then there's another sheet of paper in here, but I've kind of cut this out because these are the little images that I'm going to be using to create some cards today. So like I said, I like to kind of fussy cut these little images out of the paper. There's two sheets, 12 by 12 inch sheets in this pack where you can cut out these different images that are in here and you can use them in your card making. And I even cut out the ones that are on the side of the paper. So like this one is on the side, and we'll use a couple that are on the side of the paper. I cut those out too and use them in card making. So that's the paper. And then I'll show you the stamp set. So the stamp set is called Thankful Garden, and it has two large images in it, which we're going to actually use today, along with the pattern paper that we're going to use. And then it has a coordinating die, so you can cut out those large floral images with the dies. So that's what it looks like. And I already have the floral images out. But it also has a mask in here. So you can actually use these masks to color in the flowers, the leaves, and to color in the flowers. So there's masks for both style of flowers. So we aren't going to be using the masks today, but we will use some of the other things from this particular bundle. So I love those little masks because it just helps you ink blend and do some coloring on these large floral images. So let's look at this first card. So we'll do the Melon Mambo one first. I like the pink and the black, the pop of black. It just really kind of adds to the card. So for the cards that I'm sharing today, we are going to do a little bit of stamping in the background. Let me grab my bone folder here. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to stamp this large floral image in the background. And we're just going to kind of stamp it on the side to just give a little bit more design to the cardstock instead of just using plain cardstock. So I'm going to use this large floral image, one of the large floral images that's in this set. And I'm basically just going to use some Melon Mambo ink. And you can do this with any of your large images. You can kind of create a nice little background. So we're just going to put this off to the side. And then I'm going to stamp it again. So I'm just using part of it. We'll stamp it again, kind of down towards the bottom. And you could actually go all the way around if you wanted, but we're just going to go on this right side to create our card. So this is a fun little technique if you haven't done this before, just stamping the same color. So it's Melon Mambo card base, and I just use Melon Mambo ink. And let's bring these in here. And now we're just going to add a variety of different pieces. So I have some black cardstock, which is 2 by 3.5 inches. So that's that piece. And then I have some of the pattern paper, which is 3.5 by 2 3/4. So this one I actually made a little bit bigger than this piece. So it's 3.5 by 2 3/4. And we're basically just going to adhere these pieces together, and then we'll add them to the card front. Well, maybe we will. If I can get my glue to work. There we go. So I like to add the pieces together first, and then add them to the card front. So you can see it just gives it a really nice look, having those flowers off to the side there. And then I used one of the florals from that paper, and I'm going to actually just show you how I cut it out. But this is one of the florals that's on the side of the paper. So just because some of the flower is cut off doesn't mean that you can't use it in your card making. So sometimes I use those end pieces, you know, the flowers that are on the end or the images that are on the end, to decorate the inside of the card. But this time we're going to decorate the outside. So I just go around the image with my scissors, and you don't have to cut out everything. You just need to leave a little bit of white space, like around the image. So don't cut directly on the leaf or directly on the flower. Just leave a little bit of white space, because that'll actually blend in with the white on this particular piece of pattern paper. Plus, if you try to cut on these lines, if you try to cut directly on the leaves or directly on the flowers, then your crooked cuts, because I make crooked cuts, your cuts will show a lot more if you cut directly on the line versus just leaving a little bit of space around it. So that way, you know, you can't see the flaws, because there's lots of flaws as I cut, because we're doing it by hand. So, all right, so let's cut this. That should be good. And then this piece can just go right up against there. So I thought it was just a nice little focal point for this card. So let's put some dimensionals on here. And then we'll add this. And I got to get some little dimensionals, tiny ones. All right, so we'll add this on here. And we'll pop that up right about there. So see how pretty that looks? Just looks really nice. You could use, I could have used a full image too on this card. This is the full one that, you know, doesn't have the part of it cut off. And then I just did some heat embossing on some black cardstock. So I used the white embossing powder on some black cardstock. And then we can just kind of tuck this in. I probably should have, well, let's add some dimensionals and we'll figure it out from there. Probably should have put this on first. But we'll move it around, see where we can tuck it. Let's go right about there. So that's really all there is to it. And then I used some rhinestones this time just to do some embellishing on the card. So I'll grab some of these rhinestones. Rhinestones go good with anything, right? And that's it. So isn't that pretty? It's just a really, really pretty. I like the color combination, the pink. And then on the inside, you can stamp that image again if you want on the inside on some white cardstock just to decorate the inside, or you could use, you know, some of those additional flowers on the inside to decorate it. So that is the first card. Now this second one, we're going to kind of go with this garden green and the blueberry bushel. And I did a little bit of embossing on some white cardstock. So for this one, we're going to start with a piece of white cardstock. Let's create the layout first. Yeah, grab my pieces here. And then we're actually going to use the same size blueberry bushel piece as we did. It's the same size as this one from this card. So it's what was it? 2 by 2 by 3.5. That's it. 2 by 3.5. So we're using that same size. And then we're going to use a 2 by 4.25 inch piece of pattern paper. So let's adhere that first. So we'll add the green first. So this is one of my favorite layouts. I tend to use this one a lot. Just kind of adding some some paper off to the side here, and then layering some additional pieces on top. So then I took a 2 3/4 by 3 inch piece of white cardstock and just embossed it with the Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder. So this one's going to go right on this blue, and then we'll create our focal point, our little flower. We'll add that. So I like to show you guys the layouts first because, like I said, you don't necessarily need the supplies that I have. You can do this with any supplies you have on hand. So, oh, I must have had some stuff on my finger. Well, we'll cover that up anyways with the flour, so it's okay. It's all good. All right, so this is the flour that I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut this one out too because I wanted to show you how I did this. So this flower actually goes off the edge of the paper. And as you can see, I just used this part. I didn't use this part. So we're going to cut this off, and I'll just show you how I did that. But basically, we're just going to go around this flower again. And I like to just move my paper more than my scissors. So I kind of hold my scissors in the same spot and just move my paper around. We will cut all this off. All right, when you get down here to this part, I just kind of went in between here and just kind of wiggled my scissors back and forth just to create kind of a rounded edge. So it kind of looks uniform. And that's all there is to that. All right. So that just gives you this piece that you can use then off to the side like this. And then I just did, again, some heat embossing on some black cardstock. So let's line this up. I like to line up my images first. I think we're going to come down a little bit. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on here. And let's go right about there. So I like to put it together like this and then add my dimensionals, because then I know everything kind of lines up. So you just add a little bit of glue and then put your dimensionals on it to hold everything in place. So we'll put one here. Let's put one more in here. One more for good measure. And then we will just put this on right like that. So it's lined up. And that is card number 2. Let's add some of these rhinestones. So let's see, we want these little ones here. And if you guys don't know what this tool is, this is the Take Your Pick tool. And it's got a little bit of putty on the end, so it makes it easy to pick up these little rhinestones and add them to your card. So this is definitely a must-have. It's a lot easier than using a scissors or something else. So, all right, so that is card number 2. And then on the inside, you can add some pattern paper. And I actually used some other small little images that were on the side of the paper just to decorate the inside. So, all right. So the next one is, let's see, this one. So we'll play around with the purple, the fresh Freesia, and we're going to do some stamping down the side for this one. So let's do that right away before I bring in anything else. We are going to grab our cardstock. And this is going to be a top folding card like that. So we are going to use this large image, and we're going to do the same thing. It's just going to be that subtle background. So we're using the fresh Freesia ink, and we are using fresh Freesia cardstock for the background. And basically, I just want some of these off to the side. Let's go right about there. And we'll add a couple more over here. And now we can go ahead and decorate the card. Let's move some of this stuff. All right. I'll bring back the original card. Here we go. So do you see how just what a really cool background you get when you add just a little bit of stamping off the side? All right, for this one, I have a 3 by 3.5 inch piece of black cardstock. And then I have a 3 3/4 by 3 inch piece of pattern paper. So these two are going to get adhered together. So let's add some glue on this. And we'll add this. So that will go right in the center there. And then for this one, I didn't do any heat embossing. I just, this is a 1 by 2 3/4 inch piece of white cardstock. So I just stamped this on there using the black ink. You can use black, or actually you can use early espresso, either one. Um, this is actually early espresso, even though it looks black. And then I cut these little florals out, so you don't have to watch me cut these out again, but I cut these little florals out of that pattern paper. And basically what I want to do is just create a little focal point here with the greeting in the middle. So let's turn that. We're going to go right like that. And let's see if we can add some glue here. We'll go right about there. Probably should have added a little bit more glue up here. All right, so you kind of create your focal point, and then you flip it over and add your dimensionals. That's how I like to do it. It seems to work pretty good most of the time. All right, and then I like to add dimensionals kind of on the spots where all those pieces come together. And let's add another one. I don't know, I'll put one right there, I guess. So let's peel these off. And then we can just add this right on our card front. It's just really pretty. All right, let's get the rhinestones back in here, and then card number 3 is done. So have you guys seen this product suite? This is one of Stampin' Up's new online exclusives, which just came out. So just a really pretty product suite. But I love florals, so every time they come out with a floral, I'm always out there getting the floral because I like them. All right, so these are the 3 that we put together. I'll show you the other ones that that I made with the same kind of florals. So this is the blue, that blueberry bushel. So this one I just did a portrait style card, and I used one of the longer florals that are in that paper. So this one actually is connected together. So I just put the greeting right across the center where it's connected. So that's that one. And then here's another purple one. This time I did it portrait style instead of landscape. So I did all my stamping down the left side of the card, and then just added the same kind of focal point that I did for that one. And then this one, again, is very similar to this. I just did a little stamping on the bottom, added just a larger piece of pattern paper to the left side, and then the floral. So these are very quick and simple card ideas, and I will get these out on the blog for you so that you'll have all the measurements and things that you need. But I was just really inspired to play around with this particular suite of products. On Wednesday, I did a little video. I don't know if you guys saw this. I think I linked to it in the description with this video. But I did a very simple fun fold card, and it has like this pop-up section. So a lot of these florals that I cut out, I just used them on this pop-up section. So when you open up this card, you have your floral on the outside, and then you open up the card and there's a little pop-up there. This is a very busy pattern of paper in this particular paper pack. And so this design just really kind of toned down that paper. So if you haven't seen the video, definitely go check it out. It is out on my blog too. But you can create that fun fold design with any pattern paper. So here's just another example using I don't even know what the name of this paper pack is. Come on, help me out, guys. I don't know what the name of that one is. And then here is the card that one of my team members had sent me that inspired this particular design. So there's lots of fun things you can do with that fun fold design. of course, there's lots of fun things that you can do with these card layouts as well. Um, so I hope that these cards have inspired you to take a look at this particular product suite. It's a really beautiful suite of products. There's so many more things that you can do with it. I just showed you a fun fold card and just some very simple card ideas, but of course, it has that the mask in there where you can do a lot of different coloring and things with that mask. So I hope you guys enjoyed these card ideas and you're inspired to get out your supplies or inspired to go check out some of these card ideas online later when I get the measurements out. Oh, yes. I just looked at your comments. Yes, it's Mediterranean blooms. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. I knew I couldn't think of what it was. I wanted to call it citrus blooms, but I think that might be the stamp set. Anyways, so I hope you guys are inspired to play around with your supplies. Go check out this new product suite. It's a lot of fun. It has some just very beautiful florals, as you can see, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. So I did provide some links in the description with this video. You can go out to my blog at stamptasticdesigns.com. You'll be able to find these out there later today. And of course, you'll be able to find the instructions for that fun fold out on my blog as well. All right, guys. So I hope you have a good rest of your day and a great week. And I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.